Story of the exploding whale incident. In November 1970, a 45-foot, 8-ton dead sperm whale washed ashore near Florence, Oregon. The massive carcass began to rot, creating a terrible stench and attracting seagulls. Local officials needed to remove it quickly, but were unsure how to handle something so enormous. After some deliberation, the Oregon Highway Division came up with a creative and highly questionable solution: blow it up with dynamite. The idea was that the explosion would disintegrate the whale into small pieces, which would then be eaten by scavengers like seagulls and crabs. It sounded logical enough, at least to them. On November 12, 1970, a crowd of curious onlookers gathered to watch the unusual event. Engineers decided to use half a ton of dynamite, strategically placing it under the whale's belly. Reporters were on site to document the spectacle for television. At 3:45 p.m., the countdown began and the dynamite was detonated. The explosion was far more powerful than anticipated. Instead of scattering into tiny pieces, giant chunks of whale blubber were launched into the air, flying hundreds of feet in all directions. The crowd quickly realized they were in danger as enormous, smelly whale parts rained down from the sky. Cars parked nearby were smashed by chunks of blubber, including one vehicle that was completely flattened. Spectators ran for cover, covering their noses to avoid the overwhelming stench. To make matters worse, the explosion didn't even achieve its goal. A significant portion of the whale remained intact, and scavengers were scared away by the chaos. The remaining carcass had to be removed manually, a task that the dynamite was supposed to prevent in the first place. The exploding whale became a national joke, with newspapers and television stations replaying the absurd footage. Paul Lindman's report gained legendary status, and the incident became a prime example of poor planning. The Oregon Highway Division vowed never to use explosives on a whale again. Decades later, the story remains a cultural icon. In 2020, Florence commemorated the 50th anniversary of the event by naming a park Exploding Whale Memorial Park. This bizarre and hilarious story is a reminder that even the best laid plans can backfire, sometimes in the most spectacularly ridiculous ways.